Oh, goodness gracious. Well, howdy. Welcome on into the pre-show before the free show, as I was not focused on the countdown. And we're going to turn your mic on, too. People are going to watch this live.
Yeah, you ran out of time.
Oh, my God, you're so loud in my ear. I got to turn that down. Okay, here we go. Welcome. Here's a graphic that we're going to put up, and we're going to act like everything is going the way that it's supposed to. There's Tepper.
What?
Just what people want.
What?
More of you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the pre-show before the free show. I'm Greg. That is the scrambling Ashley Pickle.
Yes.
Yes. So earlier today, this morning, after dropping the boys off at school, in the Tepper household, we had the Today Show on. Perhaps you're familiar with the long-running NBC product, the Today Show.
I am. I'm also aware that your wife is a massive Today Show fan.
She's a Today Show stan. Yeah. And so we were watching it. And today they were doing their Thanksgiving spectacular, which thumbs up.
Hell yeah, brother.
So they brought in a bunch of chefs, 20 chefs who each cooked showed a dish and stuff like that and be like, this is what you do. Because I think basically they're like, we want to show you this now so that you can have time to actually make them. And plan to make
that
them.
Makes sense. Yeah. Because you gotta buy the essentials.
So they also had somebody there that I think that we're familiar with.
Okay.
Martha Stewart. You're familiar with Martha Stewart?
I actually sent a text message about Martha Stewart last night.
So I watched
I can prove that.
I watched the Martha Stewart documentary, which is very interesting about her. I think she is not the villain that was made out for everybody to be, but I also understand if people don't like her. I think she's can be a little snobby, but whatever. Okay. Interesting documentary worth watching. And she was sitting there talking with the Today Show folks. She was wearing a sash. We love a sash.
Sashes are actually super annoying.
Okay, we hate a sash.
Correct.
The sash said, Queen of Thanksgiving.
Oh. What a title. I want to be the Queen of Thanksgiving.
I'm going to throw the challenge flag.
Are you the Queen of Thanksgiving?
I think I'm the Queen of Thanksgiving.
That is honestly... Being self-aware is a thing we value here, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. I think you're closer to the Queen of Thanksgiving than she is.
Well, I was gonna give you credit where credit's due, and I don't do that.
Often, if we need to,
but I do feel like you could challenge Martha Stewart as being the Queen of Thanksgiving.
I think that she's not celebrating this year round. She doesn't host an internet show in which they count down to Thanksgiving every single episode.
I highly doubt that she has Mr. Gobbles in her yard.
She does not. I bet. Here's a promise. She does not have an inflatable turkey in her yard. She is not sitting in front of a microphone with a turkey over her right shoulder right now.
Yeah. No. That's challenge. You know what? Challenge accepted. Challenge flag accepted. And I think we need to revoke. That sash.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I want to be clear. She is very obviously a better cook than I am. Very obviously.
Feels right. Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for her, but we can't be handing out that title willy-nilly.
No.
Just because she's food person and entertaining person of note doesn't mean she gets to be the queen. I thought this was a democracy.
Yeah, we should vote.
You know what? We don't even need a queen. We need a prime minister.
Yes, chosen by the people.
Right, exactly right.
Not part of the
monarchy.
That's the archy I was looking for. I was thinking patriarchy, but that's not
You're doing great. This is, I just think we should put it up. Let the people decide. Let the people decide, because right now this is Thanksgiving taxation without representation.
That is fair.
Right now, it's like, if she's the Queen of Thanksgiving, who elected her?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I definitely didn't. I would not have voted for her.
Not me.
I honestly would have voted for you in this one.
And you know what? I would have voted for you.
Thank you.
There you go. See?
Ironically, the text message I was referring to earlier about Martha Stewart was me getting called Martha Stewart Jr. last night. Mm-hmm. My friend Aspen, you've met her.
I am familiar. She's been on the show.
She has been on the show. Mm-hmm. She duck walked on the show. Mm-hmm. But she referred to me as Martha Stewart Jr. because if there's one thing about me, I do love hosting.
You do love hosting.
I do be hosting.
You do love hosting.
But all that to be said, not the queen of Thanksgiving.
No.
She can be the queen of hosting. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
she can be the queen of party planning and dinner parties and all that stuff, but not of Thanksgiving.
No.
It's unfair.
We should have an election.
I agree.
Election day is in November. We just put it on the ballot.
Yeah, today, Thursday, November 13th.
It actually already passed. We should have put it. We should have put it on the
4th?
ballot. Should have put it on the
4th or 5th or
ballot.
whatever it was.
A national election. Anyway,
Out on that.
hit the Theme Expo. Hello.
I messed everything up.
Wow. From the Dave Campbell. Yes, y'all.
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
No, I need to go to bed. I'm very tired. It's my district playoff week. Our pets' heads are falling off. There's VNA's thumb. I don't even know what's happening.
From the Dave Campbell's Texas football mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it's Texas Football Today, a chaos factory.
This is why Martha Stewart's better than we are.
My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the editor-in-chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Watching us live, I hope. TexasFootball.com.
Yeah, who knows? Are we even live?
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, the dark web, or you listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. This is actually a pretty highly technical show today, so I'm a little worried.
As you should be. I like to keep people on their toes. Don't get stagnant. Just because it's the playoffs doesn't mean that we just get to cruise through this thing.
Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, having a normal one. She's the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305, Ashley Pickle.
Hi, friends. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to Thunderdome, folks.
Yeah, welcome to the Thunderdome.
Today is Thursday, November 13th, 2025. 2 weeks to Thanksgiving. 2 weeks from today.
Greg Tepper, our queen of Thanksgiving.
Is the big day. As your elected queen of Thanksgiving, I can tell you with confidence that 2 weeks from today is the best day of the year. It's a happy birthday to, I don't know most of these people. Steve Zahn. Steve Zahn was in the first episode or the first season of, golly.
Man, you're doing great. We are collectively doing a fantastic job.
HBO show, takes place on a resort. Nope. He was really good in it. Let's see. Hold on.
Yeah, it sounds like he was really good.
He was. It was great. I forget the name of it.
It.
Let's see. He was in.
This better be the best. Show
The White Lotus.
Oh,
his first season of White
okay.
Lotus.
Okay. Yeah. Heard of it. Never watched it.
Very good. Very good. He was also in War for the Planet of the Apes. It's episode. Anyway, happy birthday, Steve Zahn.
1,898.
And final. Yeah, big show today, folks. Huge show because the Texas High School football playoffs are here. And we are going to break it down like nobody else. We got my top 10 Texas high football games of the week. That's right, the top 10 playoff games this week. I'm going to rank them. Then we're going to be joined by the head coach of the Waller Bulldogs. Coach Marcus Mendoza will join us live. Waller in the playoffs for the first time since 2014. Big game this week against Tomball. Fascinating story there with Marcus Mendoza. Excited to talk with him and find out what's going on down there in Waller. It's a really, really fun story down there, and I think they've got an opportunity to really make some noise. We appreciate he's going to hop on with us in a little bit. Then, no team builder this week because Carter Yates has filed for bankruptcy, and so he will not be joining us. Instead, we're going to do the picks, my high school football predictions for all 352 Texas high school football UIL playoff games this weekend. Then we're going to be joined by the Hall of Famer Craig Way. The Texas High School Hall of Famer joins us every Thursday to talk a little Texas Longhorns, talk a little bit of Texas high school football. We will get into that. And then we'll round it all out with Mailbag. If you've got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, who the real queen of Thanksgiving is. Get them in the comments, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. There you go. That's there you go. Real queen of Thanksgiving. Great. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Janae Woods, big jiggly water balloons, Blindside Bass and Homan.
Oh, yeah. Happy Veterans Day, Brent.
PTS. What is this show?
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us. Let's get back on track. Let's get down to business.
That's what
because
we're all about.
The Texas high school football playoffs are here. TexasFootball.com/playoffs have everything you need for the 2025 Texas high school football playoffs. You've got brackets. You've got predictions. You've got sleepers. You've got game times and locations. Everything you need. Recruits to watch. Everything you need. TexasFootball.com/playoffs. Bookmark it. This is a singular weekend in sports. 352 win or go home games. It's the largest single elimination tournament in the world. We will go from 704 teams to 12 over 6 crazy weeks. And as a result, we have got 352 this weekend. A ton of them on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. A bunch, like 30?
More than that?
More than that on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. You can stream dozens and dozens of Texas high school football playoff games this weekend, starting tonight.
Yes.
But I narrowed it down to 10. The top 10 Texas high school football games of the week in the bi-district round, starting with number 10, Lexington and Wallace Brazos. 3A Division II action. I love this matchup because I think as far as 3A Division II is concerned, you may not get better star power than what you're going to get in this one at Leopard Stadium in LaGrange. On the Brazos side, you've got Jarvis Dickerson, superstar athlete, does everything for them. He is a dynamo back there. A ton of fun to watch. Taking on Case Evans, the superstar. I think at one point Oklahoma State committed. Is he still committed to Oklahoma State? Who could possibly know that?
Yes, I think.
I know they've had a coaching change. Let's find out. According to our friends at 247 Sports, he is now committed to Iowa State. Committed about a month ago. As a Big 12 quarterback at 3A. You've got two fantastic quarterbacks, athletes going at it, electrifying offenses. I would like to see what happens on the defensive side. This is a fascinating ball game that will help to shape what Region 4 looks like in 3A Division II. Lexington and Wallace Brazos, my number 10 game of the week. Number 9, Corpus Christi, Cal Allen, and El Campo. So this game is going down at Wildcat Stadium in Cal Allen. And I could tell you all about, there's a couple of things that I love about this. First of all, it's just great pedigree, right? El Campo taking on Cal Allen, two very proud programs down there in the Brazos, or on the Coastal Bend. A ton of talent between those two teams. And they are meeting here in the first round of the playoffs in what can only be described as a real heavyweight fight. Two programs with proud history. But what if I were to tell you, Ashley Pickle, that it gets even better than that? You see, the head coach at Corpus Christi Cal Allen, you may remember, the gentleman who took over for Phil Danaher, is Charlie Reeve. The head coach of the El Campo is Travis Reeve.
Some of those names sound the same.
You know why? Because they're brothers.
How about that?
It's Travis Reeve taking on his brother in a first-round playoff matchup. This is about as good as it gets. The storyline, is a fascinating game because you've got these two programs that know a ton about winning football games and a ton of pedigree and a ton of history. And also you add in the fact that you've got two brothers coaching against one another. Fascinating ball game going down there in Wildcat Stadium tomorrow night. Number 8, Huntsville and Marshall. Two teams, I think these are two teams that's going down in Marshall at Maverick Stadium. And two teams that I think kind of passed each other at some point. This was a Huntsville team we had really high hopes for to start the year. And I think that they've kind of, I don't want to say that they've floundered, but certainly they have not necessarily played to the paper that we thought that they could. We thought that they were a real Region 2 contender. 6-4 though, a disappointing year. But when you take a look at like inside of it, their losses, they've got a loss to Brenham, they've got an overtime loss to Cedar Park, they've got a loss to P&G, and they've got a loss to Montgomery. Defense has been a bit of an issue, but the offense can get going. I think Huntsville's still got some juice. Taking on a Marshall team that I would say it is fair to say has surprised us. And it started in week 1 when they beat Tyler. They played a real tight game with Longview in week 2. And since then, they've been pretty good. They have one of their losses on the year is they beat Texas High, or they lost Texas High 14-0. This defense is serious gravy. Serious gravy. And I want to see what happens when that Marshall defense at home with a big crowd wind in their sails go up against what has been a pretty consistently strong Huntsville offense. Fascinating ball game there in 5A Division II. Number 7, Robert Lee and Ira. This is, for me, the 6-man game of the week. And 6-man ball knowers will look at this game and more than likely agree with me. I'm not saying that I know everything, but I'm saying that this is the game of the week by district. Robert Lee is a 2 seed out of their district at 9-1 because they lost to Water Valley, who may in fact be the second best team in 1A Division I. They've got a loss to Water Valley, and that knocked them down so that they have to take on a district champion in Ira. Ira's 2 losses on the year, by the way, to Jayton. And how about this? In week 3, Robert Lee beat Ira 60-14. So this is a rematch of a game we saw in week 3. Now, I want to see how much has changed since then. This is a pretty rare first round rematch. Generally speaking, coaches don't like to play teams they might see in the playoffs. But it works out this way. On a neutral site, can Ira close that gap against Robert Lee? Fascinating ball game there, Ira and Robert Lee. Number 6, Hampshire Finette and Lamarck. This going down in Pasadena, Veterans Memorial Stadium. And another instance of like results matter. Hampshire Finette is here because they dropped a heartbreaker in week 11 to West Orange Stark. And as a result, they now have to go take on, I think, a really feisty Lamarck team. Lamarck, I think, is flown under the radar. 8-2 on the year. I love their sophomore quarterback, Deuce Walker. Hampshire Finette's got a sophomore quarterback as well, Blake Broussard. The money matchup here for me is what has been a pretty strong Lamarck defense led by Brendan Harris the second. I think he's got like 12 sacks on the year. Going up against Blake Broussard and this Hampshire Finette offense, which has been up and down. Can Hampshire Finette have a big game on the big stage? There's a fascinating ball game going down 7 o'clock Friday night in Pasadena. Number 5, Anna and Mansfield Timberview. This game going down in Mansfield tomorrow night. Zyandre Williams, if you would like to feel old, Zyandre Williams is starting his 10th playoff game tomorrow night. 10th playoff game. Remember, he led Anna to a state championship back in 2023. Still around. Still making deep runs. Still dynamic. 36 total touchdowns. I do think their defense is taking a step forward. Here's Mansfield Timberview. And the name of the game here is that styles make fights. Right? These are 2 stylistically different ball clubs. And I think that Timberview, with a strong secondary, a physical front, and a couple of playmakers as far as elite athletes, guys like Jacoby Easter and Braylon Barnett, I think they're a matchup problem for Anna. I think they match up really well with Anna, which makes this a really fun matchup. Because I think if you were to just look at them on paper, I think you would say Anna's the better team. Let me see if I can make everyone mad in this segment. I think Anna's the better team. But I also think that Timberview, stylistically, and what they are good at, could provide some real problems for Anna. Fascinating ball game tomorrow night in Mansfield. Anna, Mansfield, Timberview. Number 4, Dickinson and Atascocita, and the time has come to just figure out exactly what the heck is going to be the legacy of this Atascocita ball club. Because you may remember in the early going, after 2 weeks, we were ready to crown Atascocita. We were ready to make this team the team to beat in 6A. Then they lose 3 straight. A 1-score game to Westlake, a 70-55 loss to CE King, a heartbreaker to Summer Creek. They rounded it all out with another loss to Galena Park North Shore, and now here they find themselves on the road against an undefeated and undisputed Dickinson team. Dickinson, I think, is maybe what we thought Atascocita might be. Because take a look at their resume. They have non-district wins over Cy-Fair, that's a playoff team. CE King, that's a win that's aged really nicely. And on the road at Katy. They are 10-0. I think this might be John Snelson's best ball club he's had there, and that's saying something. But we know the upside for Atascocita. We've seen it. This is a fascinating ball game, and I hate to say this, but it's true. One of these teams is going to leave this game thinking, what if? What this season could have been. And that's, I think, what makes this so fascinating. It's Atascocita and Dickinson. A game going down in Dickinson at Vitanza Stadium. Number 3, Waller and Tomball. We're going to talk with the head coach of the Waller Bulldogs, Coach Marcus Mendoza, coming up here momentarily. I love this game. I'm going to talk more about it in the picks video here in a minute. I will just say this. I think the money matchup is going to be the Waller offense, led by TK Gaines and Robert Carter, taking on this Tomball defense, which has been pretty strong, led by Braden Schneider. That, I think, is the money matchup. We'll talk with Marcus Mendoza, head coach of the Waller Bulldogs, coming up here momentarily. Number 2, Pflugerville, Weiss, and LaPorte. Oh, boy, where do you start with this one? 5A Division I, and a fascinating ball game. Because it's 2 teams that at times have looked like world beaters. And at times, we've had some questions about. For Pflugerville Weiss, it started off all sunshine and daffodils. They lose, but then they get into district play. They lose a heartbreaker to A&M Consolidated. Then they lose to College Station and drop to 3rd place, which sends them on the road to LaPorte to take on a LaPorte team that's 9-1 in the year. How healthy is Sean Simon, their running back? What does Jackson Shad have, the quarterback for Pflugerville Weiss? I think this game could be pointsy. I think this game could come down to the wire. I think this is a fascinating ball game that will go a long way towards shaping what Region 3 of 5A Division I looks like. I will be locked in to LaPorte and Pflugerville Weiss. But it's not the number 1 game of the week. No. The number 1 game of the week is Austin Westlake and Austin Vandergrift. In the first round.
Yeah, that almost feels like that should be illegal, to be honest with you.
In the first stinking round. Westlake is here because they dropped their season finale to Dripping Springs. And they got put on the dirty side of the bracket. And now they got to go and take on the defending 6A Division II state champs in Vandergrift. Now, I think both these teams, by the way, played at AT&T Stadium last season. Vandergrift won the 6A Division II title. Westlake lost the 6A Division I title. Matching up in the first round. And both of them have had their flashes where they've looked really good. Remember, Westlake was the first team to beat Atascocita. And that was us saying, oh boy, Westlake might have something. But they also lost to, was it Prosper? They lost to Prosper on a neutral site.
Yep.
They lost to Lake Travis. Mm-hmm. And they lost to Drip. To me, the offense is going to have to come to play in this one. Quarterback Reese Wise is going to have to come up with probably his best game. Going up because this defense, I think, for Westlake is going to do their part. Well, for Vandegrift, I think they've been trying to reload defensively. Quarterback Miles Tedecki is their star. He's the guy that he's the straw that stirs the drink. Can they find a way to get some stops defensively? Because that's the one question about them, is that for Vandegrift, strangely, which has never been an issue for them, their defense has been mostly good. But when they played Dripping Springs, gave up 41. When they played Hutto, they gave up 34. So for me, this is a really interesting matchup of two teams that kind of fit together well. And I think that the pieces fit together in a way that is going to make this a really compelling ball game. It's Vandegrift and Westlake. It's my number one game of the week in the Bi-District Playoffs. So there it is. The top 10 Texas high school games of the week. Of course, we'll have complete coverage of all of them at texasfootball.com/playoffs. Pickle, let's go to the Bology hotline. Let's go down to Waller, America, to talk with the head coach of the playoff-bound Waller Bulldogs. We're joined by Coach Marcus Mendoza. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
We're doing great. What's the vibe like around Waller, America these days?
Man, it's crazy around here. Everybody is extremely excited. There's a lot of things said about Waller. Where's Waller? If it's hard to play or not. And I'm not kidding. This place is special. I promise you, we have one of the best game day experiences for anybody, and our community is excited. They're rallying around each other. It's crazy around here right now.
I want to ask you about the journey to this moment, because you came on staff back in 2019. Coach Gene Johnson, winless season. You take over as the head coach in 2022, 0-10 season. And now you have helped to build them into a team that's in the playoffs for the first time since 2014. What is the biggest difference between that program that maybe you took over, the program you walked into, and the program that's about to play their first playoff game in a decade?
For us, that's kind of a loaded question, because right when I took over, they're like, "Hey, all right, you're 6A now." So going, we went from 4 or 5 to 6A so fast. On top of that, going into a very competitive district with Klein and Tomballs, it really gave us a challenge there to go in and start to compete the right way. But I'll tell you what, man, the culture that we've been able to build with the kids has just been phenomenal. In that 0-10 season, man, those kids were just buying into the things that we were doing. Our kids and our atmosphere was very positive. Even in our 10th game that first year when we were 0-9, our kids were competing in that for that last week of practice, like staying afterwards, staying competitive. And that culture kind of just bled over year to year within our kids, within our seniors. And then really our freshmen got to see a lot of that, who are now seniors, now being able to transform into the program we're at now. They just bought into the system. They bought into what we were teaching them with our culture, and it's really showed off and paid off this year, and everything is just showing of what I saw in Waller way back then.
Talking with Marcus Mendoza, head coach of the Waller Bulldogs on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, there's a lot to talk about with your team, and the offense gets a lot of shine, and we'll get to them. But I want to make sure we shout out this defense too, because it feels like this defense has taken a real step from last year, a 4-6 team last year. It feels like this defense has really moved forward. What have you seen from this defense that has you in the position you guys are right now?
Yeah, so Coach Brown, huge shout out to Coach Brown. He was a great pickup for us over at Cy Woods, and it was funny because his defense always intrigued me. Of the 10, once we got moved again to the Cy Fair district, we had to start seeing a lot of different plays and a lot of other different things within that district. It was very different from the Klein and Tomball. Coach Brown's defense, it's unique, so when his resume came across my desk, I really saw something that I was like to bring onto our staff, and his defense, it just causes chaos. Right now we have the number one turnover ratio in the district. I think 17 or 18 total turnovers. We have one of our kids leading, I think still leading the state in interceptions as a sophomore. And then we have the number 1 and 2 defensive ends that have the highest sacks in our district as well. So they just do a phenomenal job causing chaos. destruction up front. They started fitting well, and really in these last 3 games, the Langham, Springs, and Parks game, they started coming alive. And I mean, they're just playing free. They're comfortable, and it's really impressive what Coach Brown's been able to do on that side of the ball in 1 year. Because sometimes it takes a year or 2 or 3 years to get comfortable, but these kids are very comfortable in his system, which has helped us a lot.
Of course, on the offensive side, it's easy to focus on QB1, and we will. It's fun too. TK Gaines, the sophomore, has been a revelation and has been a guy who is really jumped onto our radar this season. I know you can see the stats and you can watch the tape and stuff, but you're the guy who's with him every day. What is it about TK Gaines that makes him special?
Man, so TK, I've known him for a while. So like I said, I've been in Waller for a while, so I've known and seen his growth even when he was in elementary school playing peewee football. Again, just building a relationship with kids and making them want to come here. But TK, he is a special player, but what a lot of people probably don't know is that he's actually a really smart football player at his age. I started kind of trying to give a little bit more to him offensively, to where he can see the game and start playing a little bit faster. And before boring you with with all the analytics and things that we do in short term, we signal in place to him now to where he calls his own protection. We've taught him protection within scheme, 5-man blocking protection, 6-man blocking protection. And then a couple of times, depending on what we're doing on single side, we give him a choice to change that route if he sees a different coverage or sees a matchup over there that he likes. So kind of taking over that offense and that next level of thinking and seeing in the front, thinking and seeing the back end of what's going on. And I think that part this year, even as a sophomore, with giving him so much free range to control the offense within himself, but we do it so that he can see it. So we know that he's seeing what's going on. It's just expanded his football IQ, which is what makes him that much more dynamic this year.
The other guy in the offense I got to ask you about is he's a sophomore and he's been played well beyond his years, but your senior running back Robert Carter has been the steady drumbeat of this offense. The guy who week in and week out, you know what you're getting, and what you're getting is excellent. Tell us about Robert Carter and what he brings to this ball club.
Man, Robert is special, man. He's a sleeper. He needs a lot more attention than what he's getting. Even going into this year, last year he led the district in rushing. He was the only running back in our district that rushed for over 1,000 yards in 7 games in district, almost rushed for over 1,400 yards total in the season. And he did the same thing again this year. He's the only running back that rushed for over 1,000 yards in 7 games in district again. And Robert, he's a long running. He's tall. He's about 6'2", but he's extremely hard to tackle, and he runs the ball so well. His vision between the tackles, we implemented a lot more inside zone this year that he just picked up so well. That's kind of just making him that much more of a dynamic running back. But the thing about Robert too, he can catch like a receiver. And he just runs the ball so well. He's a huge factor into our offense. And really with what TK brings, what Robert brings, what all of our receiver core bring, we're a very balanced offense to where, it's hard to just take out one thing. You take out the run, you were really explosive in the pass. You try to take out the pass, we're extremely explosive in the run. And our linemen have just been playing lights out this year. And a big shout out to those guys too, because I don't think those guys get enough credit. And our old lineman this year has just been playing incredible.
Most certainly. It's Marcus Mendoza, head coach of the Waller Bulldogs, joining us on Texas Football Today and Ballology Hotline. All right, Coach. Nothing left to do except next week, or tomorrow rather. 7 o'clock there at Tomball ISD Stadium. You guys will take on the Cougars of Tomball in your first playoff game in 10 years. I don't want to ask you to give away your game plan, but when you take a look at what you're going to be up against tomorrow night, what do you see?
Man, I like our matchup really well. I think us and Tomball are a good matchup. We watch them defensively, offensively, and special teams. And, we really like our chances against them. A lot of people say, we haven't been there in a while. This is going to be a first playoff experience for us. But the thing is, we've been doubted all season, at the bottom of the list in pre-district picks. Almost every game we haven't been picked to win. And I was telling our kids too, this is nothing that we haven't faced all year. We're not going to be picked to win. Everybody's going to have this, that, or whatever the reason that they're going to give for this being a playoff game. But for us, this is just the next game that we're just ready to prove people wrong. We're really excited to come out on top of this game and continue on this journey that we're having this year.
He's Marcus Mendoza. He's the head coach of the playoff-bound Waller Bulldogs. I got a date with Tom Ball tomorrow night. Coach, we so appreciate your time. Congratulations again on all your success so far. And why don't we just plan on calling you Saturday night asking where you're playing your area round matchup.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
There he goes. Marcus Mendoza, head coach of the Waller Bulldogs. Join us here on Texas Football Today. One of the great stories, I think, in Texas high school football this year. And he's not wrong, by the way. He is not wrong. This is a Waller team. I don't have our preseason picks in front of us, but my guess is that they were last, second to last. I mean, this is a team that coming off a 4-6 record. This is a guy that entered the year. He's entering his 4th year as head coach. He entered the season with a 6-24 record as head coach. 6-24 over 3 years.
Yeah.
Now they're 7-3. He won more games this year than he did in his previous 3 seasons combined. And I think that is a culture thing. Where people are going to look at and be like, oh, you found a superstar sophomore quarterback. That helps.
Oh, yeah. But
it's a build.
No, I mean, he came to me even as soon as he got the head job and said, hey, we're trying to change things around here. Can we get our program on Texan Live? We got to get people's eyes on it. You know, we've got to show people that we're trying to do something different here. And he's done an incredible job with it in every asset or every phase of building a program. I
mean, to put this into perspective, this is not just their first playoff appearance since 2014. This is their first winning season since 2014. This will be their second winning season since 2007. Waller is not a program that like year in, year out, you just pencil them into the playoffs. This took work. And to get that program, especially moving up to 6A, to get them in the playoffs is remarkable. And, you know, why not us? That's what they got to be thinking down there in Waller. Why not us? Appreciate Marcus Mendoza hopping on with us. We are at Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up after the break, my predictions for all 352 UIL Texas high school football playoff games. Yes, for real. And Craig Way, plus answering your questions in the comments, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Pour some sunshine with new First Light Community Coffee's first ever light roast. This blend has notes of honey and brown sugar that will brighten any part of your day. Try First Light now at communitycoffee.com.
Friday night football is here, and Hometown is trusted by thousands of schools across the nation to make game days effortless. Sell tickets online, easily scan them at the gate, track sales in real time, and keep your community connected with a free athletic website. Make every game a Hometown game. Visit hometown.com to learn more.
Every legend starts with a vision. For Dave Campbell, that vision was clear. Tell the story of Texas football like never before. In 1960, he built something no one had before, a magazine that became the Bible of Texas football. Coaches, players, and fans didn't just read it, they lived by it. His words shaped the game. His vision built a legacy. And his name? It will always be written in the story of Texas football. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, where legends begin.
Welcome into the Picks, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, your guide to the Texas high school football playoffs. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome to the greatest show on earth. Certainly that's trademarked. That's a bad idea. Please don't sue me.
The Texas High School Football Playoffs are here, and there's nothing quite like it. 704 UIL Texas High School football teams, all with dreams of making it to Arlington, Texas, in the 2025 UIL Texas High School Football State Championship games. They've got to win in advance to get there, and it all starts this week with 352 win or go home games scattered all across the state. And guess what? We're picking all 352 of them. I'm either going to mention it out loud or it is going to be scrolling on this side of the screen. And I get this every year. You're going to say, oh, you missed this game, you missed that game. I did not. I promise. I checked. It's either scrolling here or I mention it out loud. If I mention it out loud, it's not going to be scrolling here. If it's scrolling here, I'm not going to mention it out loud. You got it? Cool. We're going to pick all 352. There are massive games everywhere you look. Let's get going. We start in Houston. 7 o'clock Friday night at Tomball ISD Stadium. It is a 6A Division II by-district matchup as the Tomball Cougars take on the Waller Bulldogs. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, TKO. Let's talk about TK Gaines, the super sophomore quarterback for Waller, and what a revelation he has been for this Bulldogs attack. A guy who has really grown as the season has gone on and is now an electrifying playmaker, fully capable of taking over any game. He will be the single most exciting player on the field on Friday night in Tomball. Can the sophomore step up in a huge way on the big stage? Key number 2, Tomball's offensive balance. So when you take a look at this Cougars ball club, what stands out to me is obviously the offensive side, averaging nearly 40 points per game. But my question is, like, defensively, where do you attack them? Because they can do so many different things. Their quarterback, Jackson Falden, has been fantastic. 23-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. You can live with that. And they've got a stud sophomore of their own in the running back, Ian Thomas, who is over 1,200 yards on the season. You add in the weapons they've got on the outside. This is a balanced attack for Tomball, and when they really bloom is when they're able to get both the running game and the passing game going. So on Friday night, can they get both of those parts of the offense rolling? And key number 3, playoff experience. So for Tomball, they're seniors. This is the 9th playoff game that they have seen in their high school career. And I think that's a credit to Dave Handel and his coaching staff, elevating this Tomball program to be one of the most consistent in the Houston area. They've been great. For Waller, it's all new. This is the Bulldogs' first playoff appearance since 2014, and what a job Coach Marcus Mendoza has done for this program to get them back to a place they have not been in more than a decade. But now it gets to win or go home time, right? For Tomball, over the last few years, this is old hat. For Waller, it's all new. The question here, does playoff experience matter? Who am I picking? I'm going with Tomball. I think being at home helps in this one, certainly, but I also think that the defense, led by Braden Schneider, is the difference in this one. When that defense takes the ball away, they are very hard to beat. Now, I mentioned Waller has got the single individual best playmaker in this one in their quarterback, TK Gaines, and he is capable of taking over this ball game. Furthermore, I want to see if they can get that running game going with Robert Carter. What a stud he has been, the senior has been for this program. But I think that Tomball's defense is the difference here. I think the Cougars move on to the area round. Let's go to 5A, 7 o'clock Friday night at Anderson Stadium in Mansfield. It is a 5A Division II by-district matchup as the Timberview Wolves take on the Anna Coyotes. And for Anna, it's a familiar face at the helm, quarterback Zyandre Williams, back in the playoffs, making his 10th career playoff start. That is pretty remarkable. Remember, he led them to a state championship as a sophomore back in 2023, but I think that he has been terrific. 36 total touchdowns on the year, but I think the defense as well, with Jaden Parker, has stepped up in a big way. Timberview's a really interesting test because they've got a ton of playmakers, right? Guys like Jacoby Easter who can do a little bit of everything, but I think that the strength of this Timberview team is their physicality and their defense, led by Ernesto Leon Chavez. Their defense has really been strong. And so you take a look at this matchup, and while I think that Anna has the single individual best playmaker in Zyandre Williams, styles make fights. And I think that Timberview really matches up well with Anna, especially up front. That is going to be key. Can Anna protect Zyandre Williams? I've got all eyes on this one. This game is fascinating. but I think Timberview gets the win. Let's go to 4A, 7 o'clock Friday night at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Pasadena. It is a 4A Division II bi-district matchup as Hampshire Finette takes on Lamar. Fascinating ball game here. Hampshire Finette is here because they dropped their regular season finale in a heartbreaker to West Orange Stark, and now they get a very feisty Lamarck squad. 8-2 on the year, and I think flying under people's radar. Love the quarterback matchup in this one. Two sophomores loading up in this one. Deuce Walker for Lamarck has been a revelation. I really like what Blake Broussard does for this offense there at Hampshire Finette. He has been terrific. All eyes here are on the Hampshire Finette offense up against the Lamarck defense led by Brendan Harris II. For me, I'm keeping an eye on that matchup because Hampshire Finette, in their 7 wins, they average 41 points a game. In their 3 losses, just 20. Can Lamarck bottle them up? I think they can. Give me the Cougars. To 3A we go. 7 o'clock Friday night at Leopard Stadium in LaGrange. It is a 3A Division II bi-district matchup as the Lexington Eagles take on the Cougars of Wallace Brazos. And I think Wallace Brazos might be among the most dangerous 3 seeds in all of Texas high school football because this team is 8-2 and very, very dangerous. And if you have not seen Jarvis Dickerson, their quarterback, you are in for a treat. This guy is a dynamo, a superstar out there, and he does a little bit of everything. Their leading passer and their leading rusher. He is box office. But if you're looking for box office, look on the other side with Case Evans, the outstanding quarterback for Lexington, putting together a remarkable Texas high school football career. One of the very best quarterbacks in all of Class 3A, looking to go out with a bang. And so for me, with superstars on both sides, this comes down to defense. And that is where I think Lexington with Robert Kellenberger has the advantage. I think that defense leads them to a win. Give me Lexington. To 2A we go, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Memorial Stadium in Big Spring. It's a 2A Division I bi-district matchup as the Ozona Lions take on the Anson Tigers. We just got done talking about Wallace Brazos as one of the most dangerous 3 seeds in Texas high school football. I think Anson is among the most dangerous 4 seeds in Texas high school football. Their defense has been excellent. They've allowed single-digit point totals in 6 of their 10 ball games, and they have got a quarterback in Hunter Teichelman who can do a little bit of everything. They will have their hands full with unbeaten Ozona and the remarkable Christian Villarreal, chasing history 540 yards away from the all-time single-season rushing record set by Ken Hall 72 years ago. And he is in range. If you've never seen this guy, he is a freight train out there, and it's going to be up to the Anson defense to slow him down. Now, let's be really clear about this. If Ozona wins this game and they play next week, there is a pretty darn good chance that we will have a new single-season rushing king in Texas high school football by the time it's all said and done. And remember, that would be game 12, the same number of games that Ken Hall did it. I think Ozona gets the win. Give me the Lions. And let's go to 6-man football, 7:30 p.m. Thursday night in Claude. It is a 1A Division II bi-district matchup as the Miami Warriors take on the Paducah Dragons. Because of the smaller playoff field, only 2 teams from each district make the playoffs as opposed to 4. You get to the good stuff quicker in 6-man football, and that is the case in this one, a critical Region 1 showdown. Miami is undefeated for the 2nd time in 3 years. I love their senior-laden defense led by Jack Katara, and they have got a freshman star on the offensive side, and Chance White. He has been electrifying. Well, Paducah's a tough matchup in the first round. They are 8-1. Their 1 loss on the year is a 1-point loss at Motley County. They are dangerous. Darren Mackey is the name to know for them. He is their stud spread back. He's going to do a little bit of everything. As it comes down to 6-man football, it's usually about stops, and that's where I think the Miami defense might have a little bit of an advantage. Give me the Warriors.
The Picks is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Don't have time to go to a Dick's store this week? Just go to dicks.com.
Yo, these Katie's are fire. Bro, you work here?
Whatever, kid. Take notes. Yo, I can go all pro in these.
I can guard you and route you up.
You sure about that?
Not anymore.
Fellas looking for a quarterback?
The goal!
Billy needs cleats. You're right, Billy. These do bring out my eyes.
Every shoe for every athlete, only at Dick's.
Dick's is the GOAT.
But those are far from the only big games in the first round of the Texas high school football playoffs. Remember, I'm picking every single game. I'll either mention it out loud or it's scrolling on the side of the screen. Let's get to the lightning round. In 6A Division 1, I like South Grand Prairie over Lake Highlands, and give me Dickinson over Atascocita. I like Cy Ranch over Klein, and give me Hutto over Austin Bowie. 6A Division 2 now, I like Prosper over Hebron. Give me Manville just barely over Fort Bend Hightower. And in maybe the biggest game of the weekend, I like Austin Westlake over Austin Vandegrift. 5A Division 1 now, I like Midlothian over Georgetown Eastview. And after one of the craziest 24 hours in Texas high school football history, I think Amarillo beats El Paso El Dorado. I like LaPorte over a dangerous Pflugerville Weiss team, and give me San Antonio Piper over San Antonio J. 5A Division 2 now, give me Brenham over Texas City. I like Victoria West over Corpus Christi Miller. And I like Huntsville in a close one over Marshall. 4A Division 1 now, give me Burnett over Andrews. And I like Paris over Dallas Lincoln. I'm going with Longview Pine Tree over Lumberton. And how's this for first round pedigree? I like Corpus Christi Cal Allen over El Campo. To 4A Division 2 we go. I like Graham over Godley. Give me Bandera over Gonzales. And out east, I like Athens over Gilmer. 3A Division 1 now, I like Commerce over Jefferson, and give me Peaster over Sweetwater. I like Hitchcock over Little River Academy, and in one of the premier games of the first round, I like Raymondville over Orange Grove. In 3A Division 2, I like St. Angelo Grape Creek over Crane. Give me West Rusk over Woodville, and I'm going with Holiday over Early. 2A Division 1 now, I like Hamilton over Tioga. Give me Wascom over Cooper, and San Saba gets a win over Rosebud Lot. 2A Division 2 now, give me Sudan over Farwell, and I like Lindsay over Hamlin. I'm going with Overton over West Sabine, and I like Burton over Bracketville. And there's more must-see six-man action. In 1A Division 1, I like Robert Lee over Ira, and give me Union Hill over Avalon. And in 1A Division 2, I like Oakwood over Three-Way. And those are the picks. I picked all 352 UIL Texas High School football playoff games. I either mentioned it out loud or was scrolling on the side of the screen, and now you can let me know, what am I wrong about? Leave comments down below. Don't forget that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/DaveCampbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/DaveCampbells. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com, where you can find complete coverage of the 2025 Texas High School Football Playoffs at texasfootball.com/playoffs. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the bi-district round of the playoffs. We'll see you.
There it is, the picks. My high school football predictions for the bi-district round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs. And per usual, I guarantee I got at least one of those right. At least one. If I go 1 for 352, I'm pretty sick.
Yeah.
We've said before that, like, if I were to go for 0 for 352, that would be actually a pretty remarkable feat.
Oh, that would be, like, the odds there
astronomical, right?
Are insane. There's no way that you can
like I could intentionally look like in the same way that like I'm not going to get all 352 right.
No, yeah, but I would think it would be almost more shocking if you could get everything wrong.
Yeah, I'd have to like because there are like look, it's first round of the playoffs. There are a handful of games that are blowouts, right? They are projected blowouts. They are mismatches. You've got a first place team against a fourth place team, and the gap is wide. I get it. So it would be pretty remarkable, and I'd have to be pretty intentional in order to miss all 352 picks. You can find that on our YouTube page as well if you missed any of that. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. Let's go Austin way. We are pleased to be joined, as we are every Thursday, by the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, the host of the eponymous Craig Way Show on AM 1300 The Zone, and the voice of the Texas Longhorns. It is our friend, Craig Way. Craig, I can say this with all sincerity. Happy holidays.
It is the holiday season. And by the way, I heard you two talking about astronomical. It made me think about Pickle's task right now dealing with all the TV entities that are on tap for this week. Am I near the mark there, Ashley?
You could not be more correct. We're having a great time.
And she is, if you don't know, Pickle runs a lot of the broadcasting behind the scenes type stuff for the playoffs, which is why she looks so great and so fresh and so wonderful, Ashley. Anyway, Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer. Let me ask you first about your one of your day jobs, which is the voice of the Texas Longhorns, because you are going to be making your way out to Athens for the Texas matchup with Georgia. And this is obviously a huge matchup for a number of reasons. This is obviously a matchup of two teams that are very familiar with one another. I think it's actually the history between these two teams is really fascinating for the because of their recent history. But what I would like to focus on is this does feel like the real push comes to shove moment for Texas. This resurgence after some disappointing losses earlier in the year has been encouraging. But am I correct in saying that that's all led up to this moment, and we'll find out more or less everything we need to know about the Longhorns moving forward from their matchup in Athens?
I think you're spot on, Tep. And they're 7-2, and the first loss, of course, is at Ohio State, and so there's certainly no disgrace or anything wrong with that. And I think Longhorn fans came out of that loss going, hey, it was a 14-7 ball game. We'll get this offense fixed. It's Arch Manning's first game as the bona fide designated starter, blah, 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 so on and so forth. The Florida game just kind of cast a pall over a lot of the fan base. And they're like, oh, my gosh, everything's going down in flames and it's all a mess. In truth, it was probably headed up to that because the offense hadn't found its footing yet. There were injuries along the offensive line to go with the inexperience, and quite frankly, Arch Manning wasn't playing up to the hype, although that would have been nearly impossible to play up to all that hype, but he still had not established enough consistency. During these past 4 weeks, I think the offense has found its footing a bit. The offensive line getting Cole Hudson back, and he had been an anchor at center, but using him now, putting him over at left guard, where Connor Robertson has really stepped in nicely at center. And then Manning has played better. He has taken the layups or the easy ones, as Sark would say, when it's there and not trying to force something. He's used his legs effectively and getting some guys healthy, getting Emmett Mosley healthy and in the mix. He wasn't there throughout most of fall camp and the entire numerical first half of the season, but he's come up with some big catches, none bigger than the one in overtime in Starkville. So I think things like that and this offense starting to get a rhythm, because the defense has played really, really well, and they continue to do so.
Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer, joins us every Thursday here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TF Today. It is, of course, exciting times in college football, but it is also very exciting times in high school football. The first round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs are here. 352 win-or-go-home games scattered hither and yon across the state of Texas. I'm gonna ask you kind of a broad question about this. There's 12 brackets. You can find all the brackets at texasfootball.com/playoffs. I know you've got them printed out and put on your put on your wall at the office. I want to ask you, when you take a look at all 12 of those brackets and the way that they've shaped out, is there one or are there one or two that stand out to you that say, I'm especially intrigued by what's going to go on and how this particular bracket is going to shake out? Are there one or two of those divisions that you find particularly intriguing?
I do. I think 3A Division 2 looks probably more intriguing than it's been in some recent years, even though we're talking about, Gunner going for a 4-peat. But I think there's plenty of contenders there in 3AD2. I think 5A Division 1 has some interesting players in addition to obviously the number one in Aledo. And I also think that 5A Division 2, despite South Oak Cliff's recent run in getting to the finals, it might be a little bit more competitive. I asked you the other day when you were on my show, which classification it was the most likely, in your estimation, to feature repeat champions in both divisions. And you went with 6-man. And I don't think that that's far-fetched at all, especially given the way Gordon has played this year, whether they're playing a 6-man team or an 11-man team, by the way. I think the Division 2 bracket might be a little more up for grabs the way the Richland Springs go. If you backed me into a corner and said, pick one classification that is most likely, not a lot, but most likely to have repeats, I would probably say 4A, carried largely by Carthage, although here's Salina, the defending state champion. I'm here to tell you the best 4A Division I team I've seen this year has been Stephenville. So that's why I say backed into a corner. But I think if I had to pick one classification where the greatest likelihood of both divisions having repeat state champs, I'd probably go with 4A.
Talking with Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer, as we do every Thursday here on Texas Football Today. All right, Craig. We'll get to the games that I'm going to press you on, but I'm not going to press you on this one because I think that this would be the runaway winner, which is probably ruining the game. But there's a huge game in your backyard. You're going to be heading off to Georgia while, in my opinion, the biggest game of the Texas high school football playoffs is going to be going on down the street from you at Monroe Stadium when Vandergrift takes on Westlake in the first round of the playoffs. Pickle and I, in an earlier segment, talked about how this feels like it should almost be illegal that this is a first-round matchup. Do you have the same feeling of marveling at the fact that we can have two teams that played for state championships a year ago meeting up and one of them is 48 minutes away from their season ending?
I do think so, but from a different perspective. When we saw these teams last year, they looked like state championship. I don't know that you can make that case this year about both teams, and maybe that's why this is such a cool matchup, because neither completely performed. Vandergrift only has the one district loss, but that raised eyebrows, losing to a McNeil team that ended up not even qualifying for the postseason. And then, of course, they lost to a really good Dripping Springs team, which completed the sweep by beating Westlake to earn that top seed in the Division II bracket. So neither team, I think, is playing at its best right now. And maybe that's what makes this matchup so interesting and so intriguing and so interesting. I think they both still have something to prove. Now, I will agree with you on what you said the other day on my show, that if whoever survives this, and it probably will be survival, whoever survives this, yeah, maybe they get loose then and really get on a run galloping through Region 4. So I'd say the hardest one may be the first one. And that quite often is the case anyway between 25-6A and 26-6A. It's just that in this case, it's rather unique because it's not the undercard in terms of its appearance and its history and its tradition, but it is the undercard in terms of the fact that the best team out of 26-6A is Lake Travis, and they're in Division I, and the second best team was Dripping Springs, and they're the top seed in D2. Westlake has not been a third-place finisher in 11 years. So it's been a while, and that's what adds, I think, some intrigue to this.
Final question for the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, Craig Way. It's the meanest thing we do to each other each week, and I'm not even going to give you the escape hatch of putting Westlake and Vandergrift on the list. So I'll give you 3 games from 3 different brackets, and you can only teleport to one of them. Which one are you going to? Are you going to LaPorte for Pflugerville Weiss taking on LaPorte in 5A Division I action? Are you going to Dickinson for Atascocita visiting Dickinson in a terrific 6A D1 matchup? Or are you going to Sterling City, America for Robert Lee versus Ira in 1A Division I? Which of those 3 games are you teleporting to?
Wow, that's great. All 3 of those are a lot of fun. Just the mere thought of going to Sterling City sounds exciting. I probably would opt for Atascocita Dickinson, if only because these were 2 teams that we expected a great deal from this year. And here they are in the playoffs, but I don't know that anybody thought they would necessarily be squaring off in round 1. I will say this, too. Weiss has gotten back on the good foot, and but with what they did against Anderson last week, but that's a tough challenge going to LaPorte. But I think all 3 of those games, Tep, are what you and Pickle like to refer to as box office, and I think they are this week.
He's Craig Way. He's the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. You can hear him on the call for Texas and Georgia this weekend, and you can hear him on the eponymous Craig Way Show on AM 1300 The Zone. Craig, appreciate your time, my friend, and safe travels. We'll do it again next week with half as many teams.
We'll visit after I return from being between the hedges, hoping not to have a couple of thorns in me.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Craig. There he goes. Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer. Joins us every Thursday here on Texas Football Today. We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at TCCF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. All right. It's that time. Time for Mailbag. Answering your questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel. Anything you got. Anything you got. Let it rip in the comments. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Pickle, has anybody asked any questions?
They have.
Okay.
Let's go with... You know what? First off, let me address something in the comments real fast. This is for Brady. If you're looking to get a reaction out of me telling me that women don't belong in a man's space or any of that, you're not going to get it. So you might as well stop trying.
You can show yourself out.
You're sitting here watching our show. You're watching us talk about football. And I'm getting paid to do this. So whatever you think that you're going to say about women being in this space, you can just stop. This is the only time I will address you. But let it go, man. Or don't watch the show. If you don't like that I'm on here, I don't really give a crap. So just stop. Okay? Now we'll get back to the questions. Can you talk about Brewer versus Arlington Heights, two very evenly matched teams?
Yeah, this is a fascinating ball game because Arlington Heights is a team that you're going to look at their record and you're going to say, well, they're going to be the clear favorite here because they're 9-1. They have been fantastic, and for good reason, right? I like this Arlington Heights team, especially offensively. Remember, this was the team that at one point was like the last team to allow a point. They pitched 4 straight shutouts before they gave up 14 points to Chisholm Trail. Defense continued to be excellent on the year. But this is also, in my opinion, one of their toughest tests of the year. This is a Brewer team that's 7-3. Their 3 losses on the year, I think, are all pretty understandable with Aledo, with Richland, and Denton Ryan. They finished 4th in their district. That's a good 4th place team. To me, that's what always kind of catches my eye. It's like when you got a really, really good district, the team that finishes 4th is going to have a tough first-round matchup, but they're actually going to match up fairly well depending on how it works out. I like Arlington Heights because I think that defense has an opportunity to I think the Brewer offense has had struggles up and down, although they've got one of the very best running backs, I think, in the DFW Metroplex. That's the real matchup here. That Arlington Heights defense against that Brewer rushing attack. Fascinating ball game. I like Arlington Heights, but I think it's a really tight ball game. So that's what I think about that one. What's next?
Let's go with, can Fairfield make it to the 4th round? And if they do you think they can take down a Franklin or Columbus?
Which team?
Fairfield.
I think Fairfield's a team we just don't know a ton about, right? Fairfield's a team that I think the record is obviously impressive, and what they've been able to do, Fairfield, if you didn't know, finished the year 10-0. I also think that they have been the favorite in pretty much every game that they've played. If you take a look at their opponent's record, their opponents are combined 35-65 on the year. So I have questions. Now, I do think that things, as far as draws are concerned in the 3A Division I bracket, I think that they got a fairly decent one, right? The first round against Anahuac, they're going to be favored. Second round, if they see Yoakum, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Where I'm at with Fairfield is that we have 10 games, and I'm also just not sure yet. Just because they've been excellent, but I think they've been excellent against teams that they're better than. I do think they're better than Anahuac. I think they're going to win. The Yoakum matchup is, to me, where the rubber is going to meet the road, and that is where we will find out a lot more about Fairfield. So I'm kind of... I know I'm dancing around this. I think I'm withholding my judgment until I see them play Yoakum, because I think that Yoakum is going to be the toughest game that they've played so far this year. And I think that Yoakum, we know, has been battle tested. They've gone through that difficult district with Columbus, with Hitchcock. I want to see what happens when Fairfield toes up with a team that I think that can match up with them. That's kind of a non-answer, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. What's next?
Let's go with, do you think Benjamin can win state?
Yeah, I think Benjamin is kind of a sleeper there in 1A Division II. I think people kind of forgot, maybe, I don't want to say forgot about him, but like when Grayson Rigdon transferred last summer, people kind of said, oh, well, there goes Benjamin. They're going to fall back to the pack. Well, they were really good last year still. And by the way, they're 8-0, and Nathan Hayes has done a terrific job. They have an interesting matchup, 8-0 versus 9-1 Aspermont in the first round of the playoffs, which is pretty brutal. But the issue for me for Benjamin is that they would see, they may run, from a record perspective, the toughest scene in Texas high school football playoffs for an undefeated team. Get this. 9-1 Aspermont. They're probably going to play undefeated Balmorhea in the second round. And they're probably going to play undefeated Jayton, defending state champs, in the third round. And if they get past that, they're probably playing undefeated Klondike in the semifinals. And if they get past that, they may see Richland Springs not undefeated, but like they could see undefeated Strawn. Like it is a brutal schedule or run for them. I'm sorry, Strawn's 9-1. That to me, the path is very difficult, but I do think they're flying under the radar a little bit. And if you want to take a flyer on Benjamin, I think I like him in the regional final. I'll say that. Mm-hmm. At which point they would play Jayton, and to be the man, you got to beat the man. They'll have an opportunity at the crown at that point.
I got two more. Okay. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are on this one. Who do you think is the biggest sleeper in any classification? If you had to name one sleeper, who would you go with?
So sleeper to me, the way I classify that is a team that is that immediately you don't think of as being a contender. Boy, that's tough. So Carter Yates on TexasFootball.com wrote a story about kind of sleepers and about teams that he thinks are flying under the radar. And I encourage you to go check that out. He specifically focused on 4 seeds, which I think are obviously in the mix, right? I would say if you're looking for a sleeper, I like Abilene, because I think that people are going to focus on like, oh, what if Aledo plays Denton Ryan in a regional final, right? I think that's a team that I think is a sleeper. I think Liberty Hill's a sleeper.
That's a wild statement.
I know it's wild to say.
But honestly, after the year that they've had, it makes sense.
But again, when you take a look at Region 3 of 5A Division 2, people are going to focus so much on Randall. Mm-hmm. They're going to focus so much on Iowa Colony, right? Meanwhile, Liberty Hill's like, hey,
I'm also here.
We've won 8 straight.
Yeah.
They're going to, in my opinion, beat San Antonio Lanier. They're going to win 9 straight. I'll keep an eye on them. The other one, I'll give you one more as far as a sleeper is concerned. Keep an eye, and this is going to make. I think you were the one who picked. Whitney is a sleeper. Whitney's a sleeper in Region 2.
My hell yeah, brother pick of the year.
I like Whitney a lot. I think they're flying under the radar a little bit. That's team.
Just a crazy region.
It is. Region 2. That whole bracket, 3 Division 1 is wild. And Region 2 might be the wildness central of a chaos central of a chaotic bracket. All right. Last one.
My camera died here, so I'll fix that in a second. But until then, I love this one. With everyone this time of year thinking they can win state, what kind of feedback do you get from fans, parents, etc. when you pick against them? Your DMs have to be interesting, brother.
They are.
Let me tell you.
My Menchies are fun. My Menchies are real fun. People have real hot takes. They are very sure that I just don't know what I'm talking about, and that
Me and you both.
and they're very sure that I'm like, that I'm just like making it up, that like I didn't do the research, and that to me is like, if you want to say that like we have a differing opinion, totally fine. I get that, and I'm wrong a lot. I want to be clear. My opinions are wrong a lot, but like. I definitely dive into the numbers. I definitely do the research and stuff like that. I'll tell you who doesn't. I never hear from coaches complaining about it. Because to me, either I pick their team and they're like, hell yeah, brother, or I pick against their team and that gets used as motivation. That to me is the fun part of this, is that people are... is that I certainly fans and parents and players get upset whenever I think that they're going to lose a game. But I also know that that's just kind of part of the gig. And I've been doing this for 15 years now. I've got thick skin. I
think the biggest thing, too, is people don't understand their regionality bias.
Yes.
Of like, you've never heard of this team up in the Panhandle, so you have no idea how good they actually are. And then they're like, well, there's no way they can beat us. And it's like, well, yeah, because you beat everybody in your district. You're not looking outside of your known space, I guess.
And that, to me, to go back to like the question about the Fairfield thing, it's like Fairfield is like because of people view high school football and they want to view it in the same way that we view the NFL. which is that if you are 10-7 if there are two 10-7 teams in the NFL, they are likely about the same.
Yeah.
Right? Records can vary wildly in high school football. That there can be really good teams that have like a 2-8 record.
Yeah, like Brock, every year it seems like the schedule's a crazy non-district game, and then it's like, oh yeah, why is an 0-4 team rank? And we're like, just hang on a second.
We think they're pretty good, right? But then you can also have teams that maybe are not as good as, like, if there's two 10-0 teams, 10-0 teams are not created equal, right? And that, to me, I think is part of the context that we have to provide. And so I understand it, and I love the passion, and I want to hear from you guys. And this is my only request. My only request is, I know I'm going to hear about it if I'm wrong. I know I'm going to hear about it. I get it. But keep that same energy if I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that same energy. That's all. That's all. Anyway, that is going to do it for us. We do appreciate you spending part of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbells. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Waller head coach Marcus Mendoza and to Craig Way for being our guests. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. We will see you Saturday night. Oh, wow. Yeah, Saturday night.
We are doing a show.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. Playoff, by-district playoff recap show. Highlights, scores, analysis, big-name guests from across the state of Texas. If you go check that out, it is Saturday night, wherever you're streaming, 10:30 p.m. Make sure you do that, and then we will see you Monday on Texas Football Today.